sure to wave at the spotters park off the left there. They're doing a nice live stream right now.
All right, we'll give them a good wave.
Fly Bravo heading, cleared for takeoff.
Go ahead, clear for takeoff, watch your right.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to the aviation mecca of Minnesota, a Fortress Delta hub, and the main operating base of low-cost carrier Sun Country Airlines, a bustling cargo terminal, and one of the best aviation aircraft viewing areas in the nation at the Metropolitan Airport Commission's aircraft viewing area. And I'll tell you what, for a forecast that was expected to be overcast during this time of day here on this wonderful evening that we have for plane spotting, it was expected to be, one of those non-sunny days, but here we are. It's sunny. There are quite a few clouds about, but certainly I can't tell you how many times we've been out here in sunny weather and just have had some wonderful memories and some gorgeous views with plane spotting here at MSP Airport. We invite you to join the next few hours with us as we broadcast the action coming to you live from MSP International Airports. And if you are just joining us, hello everybody. My name is Alex Redding, the executive producer of MSP Airport Live, and I am on the air today with RJ Bean. RJ, how you doing?
I'm doing great. We just had icy touchdown from Reykjavik, so good timing.
That we did.
Your time, monitor them 126.7.
126.7, 2246.
Yep, and then feeling the sun, that's for sure.
South of 2821.
Well, the heat's going to be on. There's going to be quite a few evening heavy departures here tonight from Minneapolis, St. Paul International Airport. We're going to get right into it. Apologies for coming onto the air a little bit later than anticipated. I was stuck in traffic on my way home from work and getting over here, and that took about an hour to cross town. And I don't work too far away from here, and I'll tell you what, with all the road construction going on, I'd rather not sit in that.
Yeah, it's always,
if I could help it, of course.
It's always unfortunate, but of course there's more limited time for that type of work to be done up here with the winter climate that we have. And I think it's still kind of in play, but there's kind of a couple of little sayings about being here in Minnesota is having two seasons. One of them is winter and road construction, and the other one is shovel and SWAT. So
shovel and SWAT. That's a new one that I haven't heard. I like that a lot.
Oh, you hadn't heard that one? Oh, that's an oldie. Back to when I was here when I was younger. Yeah, you shovel the snow in the winter and you SWAT the mosquitoes in the summer.
That's the Minnesota state bird, by the way.
Yeah, of course, depending on where you are, the mosquitoes are really non-existent. But yeah, depending on, like if you're in a more wooded area, yeah, you're as much as they try to spray for them, it's always a challenge.
Yeah, hopefully we're going to do a lot more spotting than swatting out here this evening, because the bugs are more than out and about now.
Oh, just had a Gerald sighting already, so we have a little bit of a wildlife preserve out here.
That we do. So we've had these wonderful, cute little ground squirrels. They look like chipmunks. They're actually 13-line ground squirrels. They've taken up residence burrowing through the soil here at the viewing area and also across the fence. We also have a community of rabbits that has also called the viewing area and the surrounding parts of the airfield outside the fence home, too, in addition to that.
And my full turn, leave your left.
Confirm the hold short, 30 Mike Delta 2821.
2821, thanks, monitor town 126.7.
126.7, good night, Delta 2821.
And what we just heard and what we're now looking at is Delta 2148. They've just arrived from San Diego. 3-hour flight right on the nose.
So there they are going to exit the runway. We're going to switch back over to our United 737 MAX 8 that is now crossing runway 30 left. We're in a bit of a mixed flow today, which was observed yesterday as well when the winds are light and variable. Sometimes they'll be on the 12s. Other days they'll be on the 30s. And of course today it's with the addition of runway 17 to handle most of the outbound narrow-body departures, including this United 737 MAX 8.
Headed to Houston.
Contact via Alpha Cross runway 4.
That would be George Bush Intercontinental Airport.
That was 3521, taxi around traffic ahead.
Now on Taxiway Whiskey, we've got this Delta 737 900ER out to Las Vegas, Nevada. Also headed to runway 17 for departure.
Southwest 696 uniform taxi.
Southwest 96, runway 30 right, taxi via Delta, hold short, runway 30 left.
30 right, Delta, hold short, 30 left, Southwest 696.
Westjet 1900 Minneapolis, Comfort. Which gate are you headed to? Westjet 1900. I'm hearing that you usually park at Charlie 9, so I can just kind of take you down to that vicinity, and then if it doesn't work, just let me know. So turn left at Papa, taxi via Papa. Delta 2350 Minneapolis ground, push up through runway 30 right.
Approved, 30 right, Delta 2350.
Delta 2187 Minneapolis ground, push approved, runway 17. 2607 Minneapolis ground, push approved, runway 30 right.
Push approved for 30 right, Delta 2607. Delta 377, taxi up, Charlie 5.
Yeah, bye. WestJet 1900, I'm hearing that you're supposed to go to Customs now. Would you concur? WestJet 1900, that sounds good. Turn right at Charlie, just stick what's behind the Embraer. You'll see them there. Taxi via Charlie and Alpha. Southwest 696, monitor tower 126.7.
667, Southwest 696.
That was 3541, monitor tower 26.7. Viking 61, flight monitor tower 123.905.
Looks like the Flying Vikings are also going to be off and about here. We'll see a doorside departure here with some C-130s coming up in just a short bit.
Back up, down 30 left, Delta 37.
It's always kind of a little funny view as they make that turn behind that utility building out there. All you can see is the tail, but what we're looking at is Delta 2821 headed off to Charlotte. 717. I've never flown on one of those either.
Delta 2863, Minneapolis ground, taxi via Charlie Bravo. You said Fox 2?
Former AirTran with the registration number on there.
Sure. The 1900, you said Gulf back you're headed to? Gulf Salt, thanks. Jack 4, Minneapolis ground. Gulf 14 is full. Do you need to push now?
Yes,
Super Deck 4, Roger, and push is approved.
And we've got a WestJet 737-700.
WestJet 1900, turn left on Alpha, the sequence. Actually, you'll make that left turn on Alpha Southwest. They'll be behind you.
Okay,
And they're making their way over to a G gate because of customs, because they've come in from Saskatoon, correct? So they wouldn't pre-clear before coming in here, right?
Yep, no pre-clearance from where they came from, so they got to go to customs at Concourse G because the other side of Terminal 1, there are no customs. F and G concourses have customs here at MSP Airport. I believe Concourse E also does. Maybe some of you folks that know could probably provide some information we don't. Southwest getting routed to go north side for a departure on runway 30 right.
Approved, runway 30 right.
We're headed off to Baltimore.
Push at 1900 at the tug until head into your left.
It's SkyWest 3541 making the right-hand turn to join Taxiway Whiskey off to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I was in Sioux Falls not too long ago. I was actually attending a graduation for my younger brother, actually. It was a very good weekend. Sioux Falls area, I will say that. It's a wonderful area to go visit.
Rejoin closer to the push at Delta 3.
Rejoin back closer to the push at Delta 3.
A lot of great places to eat in downtown Sioux Falls as well. That I personally vouch for is the food scene.
Ground up 2350 taxi.
2350 runway 30 right, next to be a pop-off.
Yeah, Papa 30 right, 2350.
304 Minneapolis, contact to be a pop-off. Never 5304, also just behind the Airbus, so leaving gate Charlie 7.
Delta 377 off to Anchorage, Alaska. Will be operated by a 737-900ER tonight. It will be making its way over to 30 left, as it is doing right now for takeoff. So we'll see Delta 377 get airborne as it needs a little extra room. So those flights are super full. Hope all of you are having a fantabulous Thursday evening from wherever you're watching from here. We want to extend a warm welcome for those who have just joined to stick with us throughout the evening. We'll be around on the air until around 8:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time or so. Oh, here we go. We got our C-130s going off on runway 30 right.
The second one won't be too far behind.
If there is a second.
Oh, yep, there it is.
On runway 4, full short taxiway.
All right, so we'll break off the leader. We'll go to the other one. Watch out for a third, RJ. There might be a third. Don't think so, but just in case.
All right. See anything on flight radar. That's what I use here at the viewing area to help share flight information with all the flights that are coming and going here. Coming being an arrival, of course, going being a departure.
Check out that long distance angle. So there go our Flying Vikings. Off on another mission.
SuperTech 4 Heavy, roger. Can you make that left turn Alpha?
Look at all the smoke, too.
Turn on Alpha, SuperTech 4 Heavy.
Can always expect a good smoke show with those C-130s. There's nothing wrong with it. That's just the exhaust.
That's just the way they go. That's just the way they are.
That's the way they roll. That's for sure.
Yep.
SuperTech 4 Heavy, can you make that turn?
Yes, we can.
SuperTech 4 Heavy, roger, and then you can proceed via Alpha to the east base. Let me know if you need any assistance at all.
Great.
South Dakotan Aviation,
46
Sioux
Minneapolis
Falls
ground,
is very
approved,
beautiful.
runway
Hello
30
from
right.
Sioux Falls. Well, hello from the heart of the Twin Cities.
Ground Delta 2607.
Delta 2607, Minneapolis ground.
Hey, can we do Charlie Papa 30 right? Looks like we won't be able to make it. No, it's American right there.
Delta 2607, yep, that'll work. Proceed via Charlie 6 Charlie.
Mr. Phil, one of our amazing community mods, joining us from South Carolina. Good evening, Phil. Great to see you on board. Thanks for helping out with tonight's broadcast and helping to take care of our wonderful live audience here tonight. So I know that we mentioned earlier that Delta 377 to Anchorage will be departing off runway 30 left in front of us, but there's also some other departures that, RJ, we're keeping our eye on, and I think it's also a good time to take a look at that notable departure board as well.
Yeah, 377 is actually, I've been cleared onto the runway, so.
Yeah, so we're kind of on the lookout for Delta 258 Heavy to Dublin. Now, it's behind schedule, but it's expected with an A330-200 tonight. Delta 116 Heavy will be coming up later in the hour off to Copenhagen, Denmark.
You said it right. Copenhagen.
Yeah,
That's just the way I've always said it.
Yeah, and of course, we've got Iceland Air 656 with the MAX 9 that we saw right smack dab at the beginning of the program. That'll be on its way out of here at approximately 7:30 p.m. and then 10 minutes after Icy gets airborne for one awesome country and one great layover destination. That'd be Iceland. Our 7879 Dreamliner for Air France will be departing us for Paris at around 7:40, and then 5 minutes after that, the scheduled departure time for Delta's A350, heading up a domestic service tonight to Detroit Metro.
377 to Anchorage is on the roll, coming our way.
That they are, and we'll get to it here right now. Here they come.
It's about a 5-hour flight from here to Anchorage.
American 2140 at Charlie, cross, wait 30 left, join whiskey, cross, runway 4.
Alright, cross 30 left and join 60, cross runway 4, American 20.
So there's Delta 377 off to ANC.
Ground Street 96, British taxi with uniform.
Sun Country 9046, runway 30 right, taxi via Delta, hold short, runway 30 left.
Right, Delta hold short 30 left.
So is 171 running late today?
American 2140, monitor tower 123.67.
Are they on flight radar?
Yes, their transponder is on. They're sitting over at the G concourse, and as I was just kind of zooming in on my flight radar, that there's an airplane that has popped up over there, and I tapped on it, and that's what it's telling me it is. They were supposed to have a 1:30 departure,
They still haven't left.
according to what I'm looking at. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
but if their transponder is on, they're getting closer.
This is American Flight 2140, and its destination is Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, Gerald. Oh, they're camera shy today. It's like the third one that I've seen.
Sun Country 9046, monitor tower 126.7.
Over to tower 267 Street 9046.
They're not photogenic today.
They're very camera shy.
Yeah. Tide pod alert. At Sun Country 9046, headed off to Atlantic City. It looks like they're going to the north side.
Sun Country 9046, Minneapolis, ground, are you on?
Affirmative, 946.
Sun Country 9046 at Charlie 6 seconds behind, you'll see an American Courier. They're going to be opposite direction on Delta. They're going to be pulling into their gate. So I'm going to change this. So turn left at Charlie 5. Next to be Charlie and Papa.
Copy that will be a left turn Charlie 5, right turn Charlie, then
So
Papa.
north side departure on runway 30 right for San Jose, California. Going to Silicon Valley.
Sun Country 9046, monitor ground on point 8.
Point 8,
Oh, we've got an A330 from Rome coming in on final. 30 left, former Northwest, A330-300. Left 10 hours and 19 minutes ago, so I wondered how long of a flight that would be coming over.
Delta 1037, retaxi uniform. Delta 1037.
Delta 1037, runway 17, taxi via Alpha 3. Hold short, runway 30 left.
Alpha 3 short of 0 left, Delta 1037.
1037, monitor tower 16.7.
Delta 1037.
Delta 258, heavy Minneapolis ground. Hold push will be just a minute, then I'll get you moving runway 30 left.
All right, we'll expect third left, and we'll hold the push for now. Delta 2, get ahead.
Ground Delta 21, similar to section.
Delta 2107, runway 17, taxi via Charlie 5, Charlie, hold short, runway 30 left.
Charlie 5, Charlie, hold short 30 west, Delta 20.
Ground grenade to 299, just clearing the left going to Golf 9.
Delta 299, heavy Minneapolis ground, taxi via Alpha, cross runway 4.
Alpha cross 4, Delta 299.
Delta 258, heavy, wait for company heavy, they're pass your tail on taxiway Alpha, behind them, then push approved, runway 30 left.
Our push approved for 30 left, after traffic at our 6, Delta 258.
258 heavy, that's our A330-200 that is off to Dublin, Ireland tonight for Delta.
Delta 2107 at Alpha, behind the heavy, you'll see them pass from your right.
I'll be behind the heavy at Alpha.
Delta 2107, monitor tower 126.7.
167, 2107. United 1237, master ground approved, runway 17.
Push runway 17, United 1237.
All right, so the Southwest arrival is from Chicago Midway. I'm into O'Hare, but not Midway. So it's Southwest 2421.
Southwest 2421, you're going to be at Charlie Tango, what's the gate? Thank you.
Got a 757-300 that is now crossing runway 422, taxiing to the gate, arriving from Los Angeles.
Extended for another hour.
Well, I'll do a long
Copy,
distance
stop
salute.
extended for another hour.
That was a 75-300 that came in from LAX.
Supertech 4, Midbound, tow, Vita, Alpha, and Bravo after the tunnel.
It's our Sun Country Tide Pod headed off to Atlantic City, now airborne.
Yeah, Alpha, back and forth.
Whale sighting.
So the A220 that is making some noise over by Terminal 1. That's what that howling like sound was about. Well, there's the culprit. Those whale noises we just heard at A220-300.
.258 heavy, that's ground. Runway 30 left, taxi via Alpha and Alpha 7. Hold short of runway 30 left, expect full length field.
All right, just 30 left, Alpha 7. Hold short of 30 left. We'll expect, what was that again?
Expect full length via whiskey for Delta 258.
Okay, look, full length via
We got a
whiskey,
pod
Delta
of them
258.
somewhere, don't we? They're talking to each other.
That we do. And those beeps on frequency were pilots trying to get in contact with the controller. That's what that is.
Alpha 7.
Alpha 7.
So this could be the source of some of what we've been hearing. So that's Delta 2107 headed off to Santa Ana.
258 Delta 258 heavy at Delta.
There you have an A220-300.
At Delta, cross 30 left, turn left at Whiskey, Delta 258 heavy.
I think that's a very sleek looking airplane.
1237 on
I very much agree with that.
17, Charlie 5, Charlie, hold runway 30 left.
Charlie 5, Charlie short 30 left, United.
It's Wabbit season.
Hey, what's up, Doc?
Super Tiger 4, heavy disregard the whole.
And I just looked up and
Munch.
Munch.
Short of whiskey for heavy.
And those of us here on the ground at MSP, we've just been buzzed by Delta 2238. I happened to look up and see something going over us at a lower altitude, and so they're headed out on the downwind. Yeah, I miss getting to watch all those cartoons with the Looney Tunes and Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd and Wile E. Coyote, Foghorn, Leghorn, Tweety. Of course, my favorite is Taz.
Yeah, it's 1237, release time to O'Hare 4548, terminal 40.
548.
Yeah, 1237, monitor tower 126.7.
Well, folks, in case you are wondering if we're going to have any more live broadcasts coming up, we're going to have a Sunday show this weekend. Should be terrific weather. And then Wednesday is going to be also presumably on the docket if the forecast holds, and right now it is. So we're looking forward to a broadcast on Sunday and one on Wednesday coming up next week. Wednesday is going to be an interesting day, though, because we're going to have a special visitor.
Ground Delta 258 Heavy, can we relief on the restriction, please?
Delta 258 Heavy, copy on the restriction.
Beloved Flying Pencil. Delta 2709 coming in from Phoenix, former Northwest Red Tail, registration N556 Northwest.
60 Mike Whiskey, Neps ground runway 30 right, taxi via Whiskey 5, hold short of runway 30 left.
Ground Delta 2709 exiting 30 left, that's Mike, parking box 6.
0 Mike Whiskey, sorry you're cut off again, that's perfect, hold short of runway 30 left at Whiskey. 2709, what was the game?
6.
Up 2709, taxi via Alpha Cross runway 2.
Via Alpha Cross 22, Delta 2709.
0 Mike Whiskey, monitor tower 126.7. Delta 2268, ground push approved, runway 17.
Push approved on 2268.
Delta 116 heavy, hold the push for a moment, actually wait for a Delta to pass the tail, Then push is approved, runway 30 left.
Delta 1 Delta passes tail, good approach from 31 Delta 1.
All right, here we go. Here's our departure to Dublin with the A330-200.
Minutes ground push approved, runway 17.
Runway 17, 2120.
Delta 2216, can you leave room for Fox 3 to push?
You said leave Fox 3?
Apron.
Yellow. Yeah, the from front does fine.
Thank you. 574 Fox 9 is pushing to the queue room. Push approved, runway 30 right.
Okay, Fox 9 is pushing. When we got room, we'll push Delta 574.
And this flight arrival about to touch down is from Mexico City. Delta 605. An A319, of course, the three A319s are former Northwest and end in the NB with the letters at the end. So this one is 302 NB. Been to Mexico, but not Mexico City. Just the coastal cities.
Round 605, Delta parking Golf 12.
Delta 605, Minneapolis ground, roger. Taxi Alpha, short of Alpha 7.
And here's SkyWest 3836 off to Omaha, Nebraska.
Join Bravo short of the pushback.
It's currently holding short, runway 30 left because we got another arrival.
Bravo, continue your game.
Here's the gate after the beach line, Delta 6.
Yep, coming in over the river. We've got a flight about to touch down from New Orleans.
Just got a notification on Flight Radar that a flight has just been filed from Toronto to Minneapolis, Air Canada jets.
On the pushback, Delta.
That would be the Toronto Blue Jays. Major League Baseball team getting ready to come here to play the Twins. As on Sunday, their series with Minnesota will end.
Take that jet 483. Monitor tower.
Not sure if we're going to catch the Toronto Blue Jays arrive to Minneapolis, St. Paul tonight during our broadcast. We're hoping to catch them, though, if they can get out on time and get here before dark.
So 2268, ready.
The 2268, runway 17, taxi at Charlie 5 Charlie, short of runway 30 left.
Runway 17, Charlie 5 Charlie, short of 30 left, so 2268.
Yeah, those type of flights are always going to be a little bit more dependent on when the team is finished playing their game and everything is packed up and can get to the corresponding airport and everything loaded. And so I bet they played an afternoon game against somebody in Toronto, so they're
2977. Wait for
getting ready to come here to play a weekend series against the Twins.
Your push approved. Runway 30 left.
Yeah, but I do know that the Twins are playing the Blue Jays this weekend.
For 30 left, Delta 2977.
Zero Mike Whiskey, pass behind 8 Delta 73 at Charlie 5.
So the Blue Jays are the only Major League Baseball team to get an Air Canada charter, and of course, why not, right?
Delta 478 clear of 30 left at runway 4, parking Fox 7.
Our quite a few teams in the
Up
National
ground,
Hockey
roger,
League.
Turn to left on Bravo.
Canada's #1
Right
sport.
Right on Mike 6, short runway 22.
Do charters with Air Canada.
Bravo right on Mike and
We see
right
plenty
on
of
Mike
those
6,
here
short of runway 22
during the hockey
Delta.
season.
Ground up 605, looks like gate 12. Getting ready to push, but they're not on the gate yet.
Delta 605, copy.
Are we alright here, or do you need us to move for 605?
605, taxi
Here comes
pass.
Endeavor Air.
Push back, then circle
Flight
back.
5022
Bravo.
from Bentonville.
On Bravo.
CRJ 900 LR.
Oh, thanks back, Bravo, via pass and push back, Delta 605.
Zero back, whiskey, on the ground, on 20.
Delta 2268 tower.
Delta 2268, Modern Tower, 1617.
Have a good day, sir. Ground Delta 2122 ready, taxi.
Delta 2122, runway 17. Taxi via Alpha and Alpha 5. Hold short of runway 30 left at Alpha 5.
Alright, Alpha 5 is hold short of 30 left, Delta. We're
So yes, Larry
Delta
Hawkins, I
1,
see your
that'd be
comment
great.
here. Yeah, most sports charters never depart
Delta
as
160,
scheduled. It
heading
seems
up
something
ground runway
always
30
pushes
left,
departure
taxi
back.
via Alpha
Yeah,
short of Alpha 5.
that's pretty common. And of course, like say if they're flying home from winning it all, like say the Stanley Cup, they're going to be carrying some extra hardware with them.
30 right, taxi via Delta and Papa, on the ground on 20.
So they're going to be partying, and when
when
they get around to flying back home to their home city, if they want it on the road, they'll get there at some point.
Clear of runway 30 left at Mike, taxi gate Bravo 2.
There were 5022 minutes ground, taxi via Mike and Pop, cross runway 22.
Mike, across runway 22, and they were 5022.
There were 5022, marked ground on point 8.
Point 8, they were 5022.
Delta 2122, Margaret Tower, 126.3.
Delta 21
Delta 116 heavy after the obstruction bus. They're going to cross at Alpha 5 once they go. You can continue.
Right up to the obstruction box. Ground up 605. Looks like we're blocking G. You need us to move. We keep making close to G.
And passing by in front of us here at the viewing area is Delta Flight 2268 headed south to Fort Myers.
Oh, blocking them either way, but we'll do whatever you want. 605.
There's the
605, yeah.
well-known 73-9ER.
Now here shortly.
All right, sounds good.
That's 605. Just hold there. Heavy coming obstruction. Hold there for now, please.
Hold here, 605.
605. Just continue straight ahead, short of the tunnel on Bravo. I'll move it further.
And if I'm seeing everything right, our Delta 116 to Copenhagen is on the taxi down to the end of runway 30 left for departure.
Turn left at Charlie.
Being operated tonight by an
and then Delta
A330-300 with the Northwest
The
registration
gate's occupied. You sure you want to do that for Delta
829 Northwest.
Fox 6. Yeah, you can hold there. Sorry about that.
Hey, we'll wait here, Delta 2238.
Super Tug 8 Minneapolis ground. You looking to push now? Super Gate push is approved.
Oh, let's catch this A321neo taxi right by us.
Headed to LAX, Delta Flight 2122.
Departure rate is Victor, current altitude 3003. The 2297 push approved for 115, runway 17.
All right, folks, in just a few minutes, Delta 116 Heavy to Copenhagen, Denmark will be rocketing off 30 left.
Super Tug 8, tow via Bravo, short of the next pushback.
And off goes Delta 881 to Seattle Tacoma International with a 737-900ER. That is a northside departure on runway 30 right. And right behind it, you've got Marvin Windows departing on 30 right with a Beechcraft 1900E off to RRT. That's Warroad, Minnesota, right on the Canadian border.
All right, 116 to Copenhagen is on the move.
8.
And indeed it is. All right, folks, let's watch and listen to this roar.
The aircraft leaves the alley, cross runway 22, and then Delta in.
Once the aircraft leaves the alleyway, cross runway 22, Delta 847.
Wheels up.
Number 478, follow company on Charlie into the alley.
We'll follow the 478. Got the plane 37, company staying, I think it's open.
From there, pushing right now. We'll get you moving shortly.
Okay, thank you.
And off they go to Denmark.
Super Tug 8, wait.
It's a new service for 2025 here at MSP Airport. It's a Delta connection with their new SkyTeam partner, SAS. So RJ, you just showed me the weather radar here, and that's a little bit concerning because we may have some rain coming towards us on the horizon here. That's not a good look.
And it looks like the forecast is for it to break up before it gets here. But the one thing that I've learned in my time with my dad doing what he does, when you feel or see certain things, that there could be a weather change coming, and it has clouded up a bit here at the viewing area.
3809, what was the gate?
And I've noticed the temperature trying to drop a little bit.
3809, thank you. Monitor ground on point 8.
Delta 2297,
Delta 2297, runway.
So this is what the weather radar looks like for the Twin Cities area. You can see just to the left edge of the frame there, you got some rain that's off to the west of here, but hopefully that'll break up on arrival here to Minneapolis, St. Paul.
05, you can make the 180 on the Alpha.
180 on Alpha, and 605, thanks, that's on.
Verify gate monitor ground on point. The 2485, wait for 1 to pass the tug to pass the tail. Push is approved. Runway 30 right.
Hey, push approved, wait for the tug to pass the tail. 30 right for Delta 2480.
Delta 2297, monitor tower 6.7.
27, Delta 2297. Ground Delta 1302 at, or we're off on Mike going to Delta 5.
Delta 1302, minutes ground, taxi via Mike and Quebec, cross runway 22.
Mike, Quebec, cross 22, Delta 1302.
Delta 2437, run you can continue your taxi to left turn on Hotel.
Hotel Alpha for 2437.
Delta 1302, monitor ground on 20.
18. Left train 21-4, Echo 15, 288.
Echo 15, go through you, please.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a quick peek here at how our traffic is flowing at the airport and has throughout the duration of our broadcast. So here's a little diagram that we've put together here, kind of explaining the traffic flow as we've seen it, minus the occasional heavy or narrow-body departure on runway 30 left. Most of the departures are going north side on runway 30 right towards the top of your screen, and then the arrow towards the bottom. It's off of runway 17 for departures. And arrivals are on both the 30 left and right parallels. No arrivals on runway 17. In fact, they are uber rare if they ever do happen.
2977, monitor tower 16.7.
Monitor tower, good day, Delta 2977.
Allegiant 1842 from Asheville. How many Allegiant flights do we get here?
Wasn't that many, but certainly I think we're starting to maybe see a few more.
Air 1253 Whiskey, Minneapolis ground. You can expect 30 left today. You can pull up to and hold short, taxiway Whiskey.
We'll expect 30 and hold short, taxiway Whiskey. Ground Delta 2485, taxi Victor.
Delta 2485, runway 30 right, taxi via Charlie 5, Charlie.
30 right, Charlie 5, Charlie Papa, and we have an idiot at
So folks, with the threat of rain looming large in the area, if we feel a few raindrops, we're out of here.
Delay. I'm actually going to put you in the left the ice pad. So for now it'll be Charlie 5.
Because we did not...
Actually, let's just go Charlie 6 cross.
We did not bring, and we do not have enough rain gear to protect everything.
All right, Charlie 6 cross to Mike, Quebec into the 12 left pad for Delta 2485.
November 1253.
Now climbing out is Delta 2145 headed to San Diego, and I was just kind of looking at the radar loop again. It is forecasted to break up, so we should be okay, but it is out there.
Once they pass left Charlie 6
So-
Delta to the gate.
Okay, Charlie 6 Delta to the gate, and they're going to pass. They're going to cross 22 in front of us. Is that what you're saying for Delta 2238?
Looks like departures are starting to shift towards runway 30 left in front of us. Now departing runway 30 left for YVR. That's Vancouver, British Columbia. It's Delta 2977.
Yep, an A320, former Northwest, 32. Oh, this is a good number, 321 US.
cross runway 4 into the 12 left pad for Delta 2485.
2238, they're no factor now. You can start that left turn, Charlie 6 Delta to the gate.
Charlie 6 Delta, Delta 2238.
Looks like we got another 17 departure on its way out. This is to Phoenix Sky Harbor. It's an Airbus A321.
Delta Flight 2297. And as runway 30 left gets to be a little bit more busy, we've just had an arrival from Sacramento. Delta Flight 2094, 73-9ER.
Super Tech 4, heavy Minneapolis ground, push the through.
Push approved, Super Tech 4 in. For 2094, vacating up Mike.
The 2094 Minneapolis ground with your case.
Charlie 14, man.
2094 taxi ahead, Mike, and then cross runway 4.
Straight at Mike and on Quebec, cross runway 4, Delta 2094.
So Alex, with the departure that we just had going to Vancouver that had the 321 US registration number, what do you think the area code is for East Central Florida where the Space Center is?
321.
There you go. Count down to liftoff.
Yep. How appropriate, though, too. I mean, come on.
Yep, that's what it is.
Got to have that 321 area code.
Delta 2094, I'm going to change the route on you. Turn right, Mike 6, cross runway 22, Charlie.
We're also going to get a Beechcraft King Air 350i that's going to be departing for Columbus, Ohio.
And Delta 2485, any spot in the 12 left pad except the first.
Now, it's not going to John Glenn International Airport. It's going to OSU. It's Ohio State University.
I'll get you moving. It'll only be like max.
Or around
7 to 8
OSU.
minutes for 30 days.
All right, thanks, appreciate it.
Track 4 heavy, proceed the Alpha.
Grand Franklin 2104, we have Victor just pushed out of.
So I could just barely see it. The camera can't pick it up.
American
But they have lined up, and it looks like they are on the roll
Delta,
here.
hold short runway 30 left.
Delta, 20 left break and 30 left break and 2104.
All right, here they come.
It's 2104, monitor time 26.7.
26.7, 2104.
Endeavor 53, or 54, Minneapolis ground taxi via Papa. 2870 Minneapolis ground, runway 1, or, I'm sorry, push to the approved, you can expect runway 17.
All right, I just scrolled back on flight radar for departures from here to see what it might show us for the departure for Seoul, Delta 171. Estimated departure 7:30.
Wow, so in that case, we will get it.
Yeah, they've been sitting over there with their transponder on for a while, but there's been no movement, so they're going to be ultra late.
And here's American Airlines with the 737-800.
On 31 Minneapolis ground, just to be advised you guys are aware of the stop number, correct? South 2931, push the approved, we expect runway 17.
That American flight is going out to Dallas Fort Worth International. It's flight 2104. Delta 1605 is now about to touch down from St. Louis Lambert on runway 30 left. There it is. Now we're going to swing the camera around here. Show the aircraft viewing area. Looks like there might be a little bit of a clearing, but not much.
A lot of white cars.
Yeah.
Just happens to be the color of the moment.
That it is indeed. Well, I'll tell you what, it's the color you want to have a car in next week. Especially this weekend. It's going to be hot.
Yeah.
Delta 1306 Minneapolis ground, taxi via POP.
It will be nice and toasty.
Yeah, not too much of a breeze on the windsock over there. It's been very light.
I want a little bit more breeze out here. I want a little bit more wind, but you know what? At least We don't have rain right now.
No,
that I can't complain.
Yes, as I like to say sometimes, also been a Star Wars fan. May the Force be with us.
Charlie 7.
1306, you're on ground.
Right, let's check that handy dandy weather radar.
Runway 17, taxi via Alpha 7.
Now, we only really pull this out if there's a reason to, if there's something on radar. So you guys can get a visual of just kind of the skies above in radar form. But yeah, there are some light showers that are out to our west. It looks like they might be making their way around the metro, so we might be, as you were saying, RJ, we might be in the clear. At least for the time being.
Yep, back in time when we were
about,
spending a lot of time out on the St. Croix River with whatever boats we had at the time. Good rule of thumb was to always have a radio with us, put it on the AM dial in between channels, and if you started to get a lot of static, it was time to think about packing up and getting in off the river. So that's what told us that there was maybe weather in the area back in those days.
Interesting.
Yep. And believe it or not, we had a neighbor who had a golden lab. Her name was Samantha Marie. I won't mention the last name. But whenever they were home or didn't know where she was, they always knew where to find her because she spent an awful lot of time at our house, especially if there was nobody home. And we did literally, we did have a day we were out on the river, came in, it was a clear, sunny, blue sky day, really nice, and she came over and was starting to really jump at our screen door. She desperately wanted to get in because, you know, she was terrified of thunderstorms. And for people who don't want to give credit to dogs for being as smart as they are, well, I got something to tell you, because she was right. We eventually had to let her in because she was going to rip our screens up all over the place, and she had a habit of wanting to go find a closet or a downstairs bathroom with the shower. And yeah, by the end of the afternoon, we were getting some severe weather. She knew it. So they knew where to find her when they finally got home, because she was hiding in a closet. So
we've got Shamrock that is pushing back for Dublin, Ireland's our Aer Lingus A321XLR. So Aer Lingus is over by E-Gates. That's where they park.
We can start you that way, taxi via Quebec crossing line 4, Michael, short runway 30 left.
Also keep in mind, folks, we'll have Iceland Air and Air France that'll be departing this hour out of MSP Airport. Stay tuned.
That's 2057, Minneapolis ground taxi via Charlie and Papa.
Charlie Papa Delta.
So there goes Shamrock Shake on the pushback from Concourse E. Now, typically, 99% of the time, they're going to be on the north parallel for departure. We'll see them on the climb out if they are filed to go that way. And remember, RJ, the one time where they actually came over to our neck of the woods here at MSP Airport and took off on runway 12 right, wasn't that special?
yeah, but then Air France went north side. So we had Shamrock over here for a change, but then the Air France
31. Yeah, you can be Santa Park in the one.
didn't come our way that day. And this is Delta 2870, headed to Albuquerque, registration 360 Northwest. Of course, I have to always share that because it's a former Northwest Red Tail. And there's red on the tail, but it's not quite the same.
Absolutely right. So for those of you who are not in the know, MSP Airport was the home base for one of the world's biggest airlines at one point, that being Northwest, don't you know?
Yeah, sure. You betcha. I never lost my Midwestern accent.
Man, it gets really strong when you go upstate, that I will say.
Delta 2931, we'll just wait for Shamrock since you got a delay anyways.
You want us to hold the beam Delta 4 for 2931?
Yeah, that's approved. And once they move, you can continue.
You hold the beam Delta 4 and continue.
Also taking off this hour to Detroit Metro, we've got Delta 1484 Heavy and A350 900.
From 13, H13 Southwest.
We've also got Delta 162 Heavy with an A330. Pile on to the list we already mentioned with our Paris A3 or our Paris 787-9 departure for Air France. Delta with our A350 off to Detroit. We've got another Delta flight to AMS. Quite a few heavy departures here on Thursday evening from what I've noticed, just looking at the schedule now, and it's wonderful to see two new long-haul services that are actually doing quite well, RJ. The flights to and from Rome and the flights to and from Copenhagen.
Been to both.
Which one do you like better?
Well, between the two, I've been to Rome more recent. Copenhagen was both was a port of call or a port where we started a cruise, or did we end one there? Yeah, we did. So I think, you can't go wrong with any European city because there's so much there to see and do.
And so much within reach of where you're staying, too, just with the way that the city layouts are. Everything's kind of close together, which is really efficient.
Yeah, depending on where you're staying, a lot of those cities are very walkable.
And Delta 2485, you guys are ready to move now?
Kind of pick a different direction to go out in each day. And
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
of course, I'm a little more partial, of course, to Amsterdam. I've been there probably the most over all the European
They
cities
get
that
all
I've been
situated.
to.
Delta 2485, we can move.
And
2485,
my good friends over there,
via Papa cross runway 4.
of course,
You're right.
priority.
Across the runway for Delta 2485.
So the Blue Jays are in the air. Air Canada 7031. They're about to fly over Lake Huron, if not already over the lake. Well, they're going to get in right at sunset, maybe a little bit afterwards. And we're kind of rooting it.
988, request taxi.
They can make up some
Emirates
time.
988, runway 30 right, taxi via Papa.
Runway 30 right, taxi via Papa, Shamrock 988. Ground south, 1665, Hotel 13, taxi.
Delta 1665,
Yeah, estimated arrival
via Delta
8:40.
Sierra Kilo, cross runway 4.
Delta Sierra Kilo,
Here comes the
we're
sun.
crossing 4, going to 17 southwest, 1665.
Envoy 4151, Minneapolis ground, push is approved, expect to mid 17.
Approved, spec 17, Envoy 41.
All right, so RJ, we're going to have to keep our eye on Shamrock 988 Heavy that's going back to Dublin. That's our Aer Lingus A321 XLR.
Delta 931, affirmative, continue Quebec, cross
Yep,
runway 4.
they're on the
Mike,
taxi
code
down to the
30
end of runway 30 right.
Hold short 30 left, Delta 2931.
Departure.
So, folks, if you're just joining us, welcome to MSP International Airport in the great state of Minnesota. It's a wonderful Thursday evening, and we are delighted to spend part of it with you watching some fun evening action from the aviation mecca of our state. There's Air France, Iceland Air. We're also awaiting Aer Lingus, going to depart shortly off to their destinations back home.
We're also waiting for the very delayed Delta 171 to Seoul.
That is an excellent point, RJ, to bring that up, because it's something that we typically do not see, except if you're out here in the late morning hours or even early afternoon. I forget when that service departs Minneapolis. I think they may have changed the schedule, but regardless, 171 Heavy was supposed to have taken off eons ago.
Yeah, they had a 1:30 this afternoon departure.
Thanks for the confirmation, because 171 Heavy, when Delta started the Seoul service with the A350 here at MSP Airport, it was a late morning departure. Then they moved it up to the early afternoon. And I'll tell you what, if you're connecting in Seoul,
Goodbye.
you're going to probably have to change your travel plans, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Here's what it looks like.
that's never something you want to have to do, but it's unfortunately the reality of travel sometimes. As much as we hate for it to happen, we know the possibility is always going to be out there.
Minneapolis ground push the
So things can happen that we don't have any control over.
Expect 30 left, Delta 171 Heavy.
Well, speak of the devil, 171 Heavy cleared for pushback, so we're going to get the departure to Seoul.
There we go.
Perfect timing. Couldn't have planned it any better if we tried, right?
Yep. And we've got Shamrock on the north side that's approaching the end of the runway, so
That we cannot see, but we'll get them after they've...
rotated.
Yep.
Rotating mean they start lifting off the runway.
Pull back on the side stick.
Yep.
If you're in the Airbus, gently. And
Or-
up you go.
Or the yoke. Depends on if it's a Boeing or it's an Airbus.
And for all you flight sim or even aviators that are rated for an Airbus or a Boeing aircraft, which is better, the side stick or the yoke? Which one's better? The side stick or the yoke? So Aer Lingus should be underway
Envoy 4151.
momentarily. We're just
Charlie 6.
waiting for it to be visible.
17, taxi at Charlie
I
6.
think they're
They're
on
on
the
the roll.
move. They're on the roll.
Taking the runway on Boeing 4151.
4151 on Charlie, hold short runway 30 left.
On Charlie, hold short, 30 left on Boeing 4151.
And off they go, off to Dublin, Ireland. Have a terrific flight, Aer Lingus. It's actually an airline that I really want to check out. Wouldn't mind flying to Iceland or Dublin, Ireland, wouldn't mind taking a trip even over to the Netherlands.
Icy's push.
Speaking of, right?
Yep. Yep, they're behind us.
Yep, Iceland Air has pushed. So how about it? We're going to get a bonus A350 departure. Now, we were expecting 1484 tonight to Detroit, but how about the Seoul flight as well, too?
Yeah, I'm sure everybody on board that flight are going to be glad.
No kidding.
So what are they, like 6 hours late in departure?
656, runway 30 left, taxi via Charlie 2, Charlie Whiskey.
30 left, Charlie 2, Charlie Whiskey, I said 656. So 2751 is going to Charlie 11.
So let's do a spotter guide on the A350-900, the Delta flagship, because we see a lot of them here now. And it's super awesome, especially on wonderful evenings like this. So here you go. There's the basic stats on the A350-900, first introduced into the Delta fleet in 2017. They are a staple across the Delta network, and particularly here at MSP Airport. And right now, we are seeing the highest volume of A350 flights that we have seen in and out of our airport, which is amazing, because we've got flights to and from Seoul, we've got flights to and from Tokyo, we've got an Amsterdam service that is flown with the 350, and even a domestic route, which we'll catch tonight later on, to Detroit, Michigan, to the second largest by land area Delta hub. They are impressive aircraft.
Diversity 29, Minneapolis, ground taxi via Minneapolis.
And they are as sporty, as good as they look. Excellent, top-notch performing aircraft, and we will get to see that beast go airborne off of runway 30 left here in just a minute.
And Icy's now on the move, so we watch and see where they're headed.
That they are. And they have the pink stripe variant of their billboard livery that they sent us tonight, which is honestly my favorite. I think the pink and the dark navy blue look super exquisite. I also very much like the yellow and blue.
Southwest 1199, you up?
We're up. 1199 here.
Southwest 1199, we're verifying that it's active, but they did cancel the ground stop. The new edict we're showing is 0046. So if you want to start up your engines, we can try to get you out right away.
46, we'll fire them up.
Fire them up. You were just mentioning a ground stop somewhere. Not here.
So we'll see where they send Icy. And there are sorry, I got distracted with something in the background for 1 second. Apologies, folks, for that. Iceland Air, our Icelandic friends, now joining Taxiway Whiskey, headed out to runway 30 left for departure.
Southwest 1199, we did just verify, and it sounds like they are giving a different time. 0123 is the edict.
0123 now for Southwest 1199.
Sorry, I'm hoping that we can get you out right away. That's why I let you know.
All right.
Yep, letting ya know.
Yeah, sure. Oofda.
We have a sunny arrival on 30 left. Sun Country 737, 800 about to touch down.
Coming in from Indy. Sun Country 502. Yep, the windsock, she's just a hanging.
ISO 656 over tower 126.7.
And there's Air Canada with mainline service aboard the A220-300. Now arriving. It was a north side arrival. They are almost to their gate.
So both our Iceland Air back to Reykjavik and our delayed 171 to Seoul are both down at the end of the runway at 30 left. So we'll see who goes first between the two. And a mosquito. I've actually found Northwest did fly those for a period of time. I think like through the Airlink.
Super target, Minneapolis ground pursuit vehicle back.
All right, looks like 171 is on the roll. Finally, after a 6-hour delay, finally starting their journey to Seoul, South Korea.
Aircraft 635 uniform affirmative, push is approved.
Push is approved, runway 30 left, 635 uniform.
Listen to the growl from those Trent XWB engines. Up next to depart runway 30 left, Iceland Air 656 to Reykjavik with a 737 MAX 9.
Probably just waiting for the air turbulence or wake turbulence to settle down a little
Yep.
bit.
Ground Southwest 1199, like to taxi from pad 17 back to gate hotel 13.
There's different forms of wake turbulence. It can be air, it can be water.
Sorry, who is on?
Southwest 1199, we're going to have to go back to the gate for quick servicing, so we'd like to go from pad 17 to hotel 13.
Wonder what's up with that Southwest flight. Should be no trouble getting back to their gate, though, thankfully.
No, they don't have far to go.
They have a couple of open gates available.
2932, Minneapolis
From what I'm
ground,
seeing, there's a couple of other Southwest company jets that are at T2 right now at the moment.
721, just verify what was the...
Should not be an issue.
And Icy's on the roll.
That they are. Here they come off to Reykjavik.
Southwest 1199, just verify is this the 3-hour tarmac rule, you have to go back?
We just need to go back for lab and potable.
Southwest 1199, taxi via left turn ongoing Kilo, Sierra Delta cross runway 4.
Kilo, Sierra Delta cross runway 4, Southwest 1199, thanks.
2932, wait for the Canada Sierra inbound, then push the approved, expect runway 7.
We've waited the Air Canada CRJ and then push approved 7 up 29.
Delta 2846 Minneapolis, compass approved. Expect runway 30 right.
Approved for 30 right, Delta 2846.
How cool is that? Back-to-back international departures on runway 30 left.
And as we were focused on that, Air France has pushed.
That they have. It looks like they're in the process of starting up to strut their stuff all the way over to 30 left so they can get out of here to Paris.
Or as they would say, spooling up the engines. Starting with number 1 engine, which is on the left side of the aircraft, on the same side as the captain and the cockpit. And then number 2 engine is on the right side. So, first officer or co-pilot.
Hey, RJ,
Yeah,
want to do another spotter guide?
go for it.
All right, we shall. Here we go. Here's another one of our spotter guides on the Air France 787-9 Dreamliner. They fly everywhere across the whole Air France system, and we see them all the time here stateside, but they also go to the outer lying French territories across the globe, and these aircraft are an integral part of keeping the whole of France connected to far-flung places such as Mauritius. And I could go on. These aircraft are super critical to Air France's long-haul missions, and they do so very well. We love seeing them here at MSP Airport. And they have the best-looking wings in the business.
Wing flaps.
Yeah, and they are propelled also by a pair of some really huge GE NX-1B engines. Air France opting to go for the GE engine choice for the 787-9 Dreamliner compared to the Rolls-Royce engine option, which is the Trent 1000.
At 843, Minneapolis ground, runway 17, taxi via Whiskey, cross runway 4.
17 via Whiskey, cross 4, exit jet 843.
Delta 2220 coming in from Columbus, A319. So it's former Northwest equipment, 349NB. And we're not sure where the NB comes from. It's just how those aircraft were assigned
On Charlie for Charlie.
for some reason.
2220 Minneapolis ground, taxi via Charlie and then Papa and monitor ground on point 8.
That would be a really good question for our friend Anthony.
Yeah, and I was just thinking of just Googling it.
That's 2846.
What would we do these days without Google?
Bravo, Delta, Papa.
Delta Papa for 30 right, Delta 2846.
So there's our Southwest flight that had to return to the gate. Not sure what's going on, but hopefully they can get it resolved. Sun Country next up to the plate for arrival on runway 30 left.
Point 8.
28 2846.
Coming in from Hotlanta, a.k.a. Atlanta.
Delta 2692, Minneapolis ground, wait for the 71 to tail now, then push the approved, expected way 30 right.
71 to push approved for 30 right, Delta 2692. 30. Good day.
Good day.
Ooh, we're going to get a mic.
Taxiway Mike. And when they pass by us, they'll be 300 feet away from the center line of the taxiway to the edge of the fence.
Sorry, last one again.
Delta 2932.
2932, runway 17, taxi via Charlie 5, labeled short runway 30 left.
So here comes Delta Flight 2877 coming in from Denver, A321.
Delta 29, monitor tower 126.7.
So Alex, just as we've had this arrival coming in from Denver, and we've had a Southwest flight headed to Denver that has returned to the gate, I wanted to share as it relates that today we had the Minnesota Business Aviation Association meet over at the Crown Plaza, and a lot of the people that were there came up and paid us a visit at the museum. And one of the people involved in this group today was going to be headed back to Denver.
Ground taxi
So
via Alpha.
hopefully everything's going all right with her flight back, and
Alpha,
if this
Mike,
one is
and,
the flight she was on, I'm sure it'll be resolved, and
I see, yeah, cross
they'll be on their way as soon as they can be. So it was really interesting to kind of meet with everybody. Once they heard that, you know, we have the museum there, they reached out to us in advance to let us know they'd like to come up and pay us a visit. So always fun to meet up with other people involved in aviation.
Air France 635,
And then, of course, another highlight is we've got a couple of visits coming up from the ACE camp here in the Twin Cities, involving like more middle school and high school age kids with a couple of 1 week camps. And these kids are truly diehard and very much interested in becoming involved in aviation in some capacity, because when they come in and pay us a visit, boy, they know their stuff.
They do.
it's Fox 7.
For Delta 2877, it's going to be Fox 13 today.
Fox 13.
Another one of Bemidji Aviation's twin propeller-driven aircrafts making their usual evening cargo run to go pick up some packages here at MSP. Now we shift our focus over to Taxiway Whiskey with this ex-Northwest A320-200. And folks, if you're just joining us, stick around here on MSP Airport Live. Air France with the 787-9 Dreamliner will be headed right back out to Paris Charles de Gaulle here in a couple of minutes. And they'll be departing on runway 30 left. That's right in front of us. This is Delta Flight 2932 off to Raleigh-Durham. So all of Delta's A319s and A320s were inherited at the merger
635,
with
inform
Northwest
airfield
Airlines. They're all
055.
Northwest aircrafts. Along with the 757-300s, too. The A319s, 320s, A330-200s, 757-300s. All of those aircraft that fly for Delta are ex-Northwest.
Delta 747, trying to push approved, runway 17.
I could have put runway 17, Southwest, 747.
2692, runway 30 right, taxi, Delta, top.
Top of the 30 right up.
We got a Swear Engine Metroliner that is behind the brick building, and there it comes. It's from Duluth, Minnesota, upstate, for Bemidji Aviation. It's here to pick up some cargo.
Yeah, that's a mosquito that we don't swat.
Well, I'll tell you, there are some days out here in the summertime that you do a lot more swatting than spotting.
Yes. Yeah, at some point in time this summer, I'm going to be venturing back into picking away at my state park hiking club book, and all the parks now that I still need to do to check that list off are all up north. So that's where I'm going to be dealing with the worst of those nagging mosquitoes.
All I could say is have fun.
Yeah, I'll be dressed a little bit differently going north. Pre-treating clothes with, was it that permethrin spray?
2692 at or after 07, pre-release time, monitor ground on 0.8.
And 100% pure DEET.
Yep. Well, the thing about doing this is I'm not and have never been into camping, so I won't be doing any of that. That's a part of it. So, and our Air France is now down at the end of 30 left. So, but I'll tell you, I've sure been out and seen a lot of the state that I never saw growing up.
All right, folks, just about go time for our Air France 787-9 Dreamliner.
Delta 260, maps ground, push approved, runway 30 left.
Delta 260,
I think I heard him.
push approved, 0 left, thanks.
Yep.
And here's Air France. Rocking and rolling off 30 left for Paris.
Yes, we are.
Kidding.
No,
I watch y'all all the time.
we're live right now.
Minneapolis ground, Southwest 747, request taxi.
There you go. I watch y'all.
Southwest 747, runway 17, taxi via Delta Sierra Kilo, cross runway 4.
Awesome, actually.
Delta Sierra Kilo, clear across runway 4, runway 17, Southwest 747.
Bye-bye, Air France. Have a wonderful flight back home.
Minneapolis ground, Southwest 747. Can we take, maybe go around that Charlie?
Southwest 747, make the left turn out. Tango, Mike Sierra Kilo, cross runway 4 at Tango.
I make a left turn, Tango, Mike Sierra.
Listen to those engines, RJ.
Yeah, that's. They all have their distinct sound. Yeah, it's
Love the 717. We're going to do a spotter guide of the 717 here in just a second.
Yeah, this is Delta 2929. They're headed to Charlotte. So they're headed over to runway 17
Delta
for departure.
747, I'll make it easier on you. Taxi Delta and Whiskey at Whiskey. cross runway 4.
That'll be a Delta Whiskey. Please cross runway 4, so 746.
Well, hold on a second here. I think we got one more we got to catch here before we get to our spotter guide on the Boeing 717-200 because we see quite a lot of those around here.
Yep, this is Delta 3528, operated by SkyWest from Norfolk. Number Air 175 LR.
That's good, 3528, exiting Delta, parking Charlie 24.
I love flying on the Embraer. They're a wonderful
Delta,
aircraft.
Papa.
Delta Papa, 35.
SkyWest 3528, monitor ground, point 8.
Compliment, SkyWest 35.
All right, here's our spotter guide on the Boeing 717 for Delta. You see quite a few of these around here. I've had the privilege to fly on this jet a couple of times before, and my, oh my, are they a great ride.
Delta 20.
These aircraft are powered by a pair of BR-700 engines.
Delta 2871, that's ground runway 3.
Guess who makes those?
Monitor ground, 20.
Boeing.
Papa, landed
The engines.
30 right,
Oh.
Delta 20.
You are correct, yes. Boeing did manufacture the 717. It was started in development by McDonnell Douglas right around the merger in 1996. Boeing continued the project post-merger and unveiled it as the 717. McDonnell Douglas had dubbed this project the MD-95, and sometimes you'll hear aviation enthusiasts refer to this wonderful T-tail aircraft as the MD-95, aka its development name with McDonnell Douglas. And their days are numbered. Towards the end of the decade, we might see a mass retiring of these jets. So if you want the opportunity to get the 717 experience IRL, word on the street is get out and book a ticket on Delta. So we're going to take a peek at our weather radar for the Twin Cities area. And RJ, you're kind of keeping an eye on the situation too as well, in addition to keeping track of the movements here that we're seeing at MSP Airport. But what do you make of the Futurecast?
Yeah, it's out there, but it's going to break apart before it gets to us.
And that's what it's looking like, thankfully. It's stayed away from the metro area for the most part.
And what still stays together is going to, I think, mostly slide by to the north of us. There might be the southern edge of us that nips us here, but we'll be probably done for the evening by then out here.
We're going to taxi runway 17 via Delta Sierra Kilo, south runway 4, elevation 254.
Elevation 254, and for side, go through meter.
So we're now looking at Delta 2313 from LaGuardia, New York. It is an A321-200. So they gotta go a little bit further down the runway to get to where they can next turn off. And we're looking at another 717. This one is headed to Chicago O'Hare. It's Delta 1563, so they're waiting to be cleared to cut across.
Delta 2313, minutes ground.
Runway 30 left, so they
Alpha
can
Short of
use
711.
taxiway whiskey to get over to runway 17 for departure.
Got an update on our Detroit A350 domestic service tonight. They'll be out of here well after dark. They are really delayed.
Bravo and Delta.
Whoopsie.
Cross runway 22.
Japan, Bravo, Delta cross 22 to the 2313.
Delta 2313 on Delta, short of Quebec.
Delta short Quebec, Delta 2313. Sun Country 927.
All right. Welcome into Minneapolis, St. Paul, Delta Flight 2617 from Houston.
Left turn Charlie, Twin Delta.
Nicknamed our whale in A220-300.
Protect 6, Minneapolis ground, approved.
Push Super 6. Ground 2617 is over. We're with you at Fox 11.
Delta 2617, Minneapolis ground, taxi via runway 4 and Charlie 6 Delta.
Runway 4, Charlie 6, Delta, Fox 11, Delta 2617.
2617
She's talking to us.
And right on Bravo, and then Delta, follow Delta.
That or announcing her presence. It was that A220 that we were just looking at.
Yep.
These geared turbofan engines, they have this whale-like whine sound to them when they spool up.
Alpha and Alpha 3 hold short of runway 30 left.
Alpha 3, hold short of 30 left.
So if you hear a whale noise around here, that's an A220.
27, Super 6.
2313 mile to ground on point 8.
Point 8, that's 2313.
Yeah, our Delta 1563 is still being held across the runway because we just had an arrival from Bemidji Aviation. So just in case.
Here goes our 717.
Yeah, our flight from Bemidji had already pulled off the runway. They didn't need to come all the way down this far.
Taxi via Whiskey Delta Tango cross runway 22.
Whiskey Delta Tango cross 2251.
36 contact tower 126.7.
So they'll temporarily, partially, mostly disappear behind that utility building. We just can see the top of the tail. And then now they're making the turn on Whiskey.
Ooh, Delta 260 is about to get out of here for Reykjavik with a 757. And here it goes off runway 30 left.
This is a seasonal flight. Is it daily? hi, Brian. Hey, hi back. It's awesome being able to do a shift together again today over at the History Center. The stories are endless. Oh, Alex, we have Brian was at Hamrick landing in about 15 minutes from Boston. I'll be watching myself on here.
Thank you for the heads up.
And then I also have to respond back to Derek. Says, watch the Air France take off on here, followed on flight radar, and watched it fly by my house looking out the front door. Nice. I know.
There we go. We got full spectrum coverage there.
Yeah, I get to do that at times from where I'm at in the Northeast Metro, but it usually happens only when the 12s are active, sometimes 17. And it just depends on the course that they take. So I can go stand out the front door of my house and kind of do the same thing. And when we've had the recent
and Charlie 2
activity with runway 22 being active, I could stand out the front door of my house and watch them on the downwind, and then go stand out on the backside on my patio and watch them on final. Because they would head out past me and then make the turn back. So I got it both ways.
And we got another Bemidji bird on the move. This aircraft flies for Bemidji Aviation, which is based in upstate Minnesota.
Because 262, roger Charlie 2 and Delta.
Charlie 2 and Delta.
And you know, RJ, it also just occurred to me as well. We're going to get the FedEx ATR feeder, hopefully.
So I'm just looking.
Speaking of which, it's on the downwind, actually. It's an ATR 42300. It's operated by Mountain Air Cargo from Duluth, Minnesota. Flight time just over 40 minutes in the air for November 906 Foxtrot X-Ray. We've still got a little bit more to go here. And of course, more Metroliner traffic from Bemidji Aviation. You see a lot of those little guys swarming the airport in the evening, especially the later parts of the evening. We'll get a big Bemidji swarm.
So I was just looking ahead on our flight radar. The next Boston arrival that we have that our viewer might be on is Delta 1098. So, all right.
We've got a whale coming.
Uh-oh.
It's an A220.
And I'm looking in on the Boston arrival that if it's our viewer that just posted in the chat, it looks like you're a little bit north west of Hastings. It looks still a little hard to tell if we're which side we're coming in on. Oh, Brian, okay, so I did find your flight. I am actually tracking you, and it almost is looking like you might have a 30 left arrival, but I'm not yet sure confirming that. Yeah, you've just come over the river. So if you have a seat on the left side of the aircraft and you do come in on 30 left, we're here.
The 2243, now it's going to push approved, control point 15, runway 17, okay, for departure.
Landing on 17 and point 15 Delta 2243.
Whoa, that was a strong one. Oh, and we do have a viewer coming on, watching us from Nuuk, Greenland.
Oh, wow.
Is it Bjarn? I apologize if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. All right, so Brian, it's starting to look like you're going to be coming in on the north side. So I don't know if we're going to be able to share this or not, Alex, but he's coming in. He's the next arrival on the north side if we're able to find him.
Yep, I think I see the flight off in the distance.
Yep.
Catch the 737-900 ER that just arrived at 30 left, exiting the runway. From Fort Myers in southwest Florida.
Down, turn right on Bravo, taxi to your gate.
Right, turn on Bravo to the gate, Delta 1050.
Yep, there he is. So there you are, Brian. Coming in on final. Coming in from Boston, Delta Flight 1098 and A321. Oh, Micah just said, Alex, Brian's flight is going to G18, so we can get them coming around.
All right, we'll get the taxi too.
Yeah.
Push through runway 17 for departure.
Push through 17, we'll watch. Fox 1032.
All right, beacon's on. Sorry.
There they are.
Otherwise, we'll get back. Actually, once the aircraft at spot 15 moves, your push is approved. Runway 17. Sure, you're at 13 or 15.
RJ, we might have to bail on this because we got Delta 1303 Heavy that's arriving now from Detroit Metro with the A350-900.
Oh, we can get back to him.
Calling for the push, I go for meter. Delta 1098 on hotel short of taxiway Charlie for now. There's a couple of aircraft in your gate area. I'll just make sure. Hold short of Charlie on hotel, please.
Delta 1303 is joining Alpha for Golf 4.
1303 minutes ground. Run a taxi via Alpha cross runway 22.
Alpha cross 22, Delta 1303.
Delta 2243 minutes ground runway 17 taxi via Alpha and Alpha 3. Hold short runway 30 left.
7 Alpha, Alpha, hold short runway 30 left.
Delta 2243 tower 126.7.
There you are, Brian.
Delta 1303
Welcome to MSP.
On Alpha.
Or welcome home if you're from the area.
Alpha short of Alpha 7, and we're showing Golf 3 for the gate now, Delta 1303.
Golf 3, copy, 75 is blocking everything.
Looks like it's down.
Here comes our ATR 43. It's our FedEx feeder.
1469 minutes ground push is approved, runway 17.
Push for runway 17, Delta 1469.
The 1098 ground.
Ground 6953, turn 30 left with Whiskey Mike, Tango cross 22, 6553.
Ground, sorry, that's
Delta 1098 ground. You can continue your gate. Your gate was blocked here momentarily, but should be open.
So Alex Bryan says, I feel so important. Well, we don't that often get to actually have reports from a viewer in our live chat during a stream that's actually on an inbound flight. And that we actually then do what we can to share it so they can see themselves.
Yeah, welcome to Minneapolis. Listen to the sound of those turboprops. My goodness. It'll get really pronounced when it makes its way over here. Looks like we're going to get a mic taxi, RJ.
Delta 1032, runway 17, taxi via Alpha 7, hold short of runway 30.
Alright, Alpha 7, Alright, you want us to make a right or left turn here, Delta 1032?
1032, we're going to have a report. I need you to get to Alpha 7.
Alright, we're making a left turn, Alpha 7, Delta 1032.
Delta 1303, head wing to the 75, and go down. Here.
Give way to the 75, submit to the gate, Delta 1303.
1032, I did say monitor tower, 126.7.
27, Delta 1032.
2703 minutes ground, you're at 13.
That's what we're also, Delta 2703.
2703, caution 15, push to your tail end, 12, push approved, way 30, right?
Push approved for 60 right, and we'll use caution from 15, Delta 2703.
Campus ground out 2884.
The sound of that ATR, RJ.
Runway 4 for Charlie.
Delta 2884 minutes ground, taxi via runway 4 and Papa, monitor ground on 20.
Runway 4 to Papa, ground 20, Delta 2884.
ground at 1144 ready. Up 1144 runway
2884 is that off to ATL.
Via Alpha and Alpha 3 short of runway 30 left.
Alpha, full short of
Up 1144 monitor tower 26.7.
Ground Delta 1469, taxi whiskey.
All right, we got another Delta departure going off runway 30 left.
Via Alpha 5, hold short, runway 30 left.
Alpha 5, hold short, 30 left, Delta 1469.
Oh, we might have a go around. Or are they just on the taxiway here? It just looks like they're on the taxiway.
Yeah,
It's kind of hard to tell from this angle, but for a second I thought, wait, are they lining up to take off on 30 left? Nope.
No. Well, we got an arrival that's just about to touch down that's coming in from Nashville. That's Delta 2612, 73-9ER, and we have a couple that are taxiing coming this way, and that might have created some of the confusion. So, and that's one of the ones that could have been causing a little bit of confusion. That 75 that's coming our way is on Whiskey is Delta 1032 headed to Atlanta. 75-200, former Northwest registration, 566 Northwest. And then there's another aircraft a little bit behind him, also on Whiskey, a little bit further back.
Delta
So
2012, Minneapolis ground roger taxi via right turn, join Charlie, taxi join Delta, please Delta, and Quebec.
Delta Quebec, Delta 2612.
yep, there's that tail number. So that's where to find them.
And if you see a Delta 757 with a November Whiskey or NW suffix in the registration, that's an ex-Northwest jet.
Red tails forever, red tails for life.
2612, monitor ground 18.
0.8 Delta 2612, yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is the second one I was referring to. This one is Delta 2243 headed off to Las Vegas. It's an A321, and then there's going to be another one coming behind them. So we're getting some Whiskey taxis coming down from the G concourse.
Also, RJ, we got to be on the lookout for another wide-body departure here tonight. It's 162 Heavy off to Amsterdam Schiphol with the A330 300.
Up 2209, clearing at Alpha 3 Fox 9.
2209 maps ground, taxi Alpha, Delta, cross runway 22, hold short Charlie 5 for now.
Alpha Delta cross 2, hold short Charlie 5, up to 2209.
So 162 is listed as an 8:05 departure. So they're running late.
Fox 4. The front 63 maps
It's
ground,
about
taxi
8:30.
Charlie Bravo, cross runway 22.
Alpha Charlie Bravo cross 22 Delta 29.
this is Sun Country 814 from Destin, Fort Walton Beach. So that's in the Florida Panhandle. And I do know somebody that lives in that area, and remember back this past winter when we had that wild weather where there were coastal areas along the Gulf that were getting snow?
2703, runway 30.
Just ask the state of Louisiana, too.
Yeah, so I do know the person who I know down there, I actually messaged her and I said, how much snow do you have on the ground right now? And she said about 4 inches.
I think it's more than we had at one point.
Yep. And finding some live webcams of some of the areas down there and along the coastal areas and the beaches. I was watching it snow. Of course, it didn't last, but. And of course, I have to do my salute. This is Delta 1469 headed to Cincinnati. An A319, registration 302NB. A minibus.
Delta 2918, underground point 8.
Yep. There's a whale.
A stretched one.
Oh yeah, that's a A220-300 headed off to San Antonio. That's Delta 2773.
Well, folks, I have some encouraging news. It looks likely that we're going to be able to see the Toronto Blue Jays arrive into Minneapolis, St. Paul tonight. How about that?
Where are they?
They are over western Wisconsin right now. They're on the descent. They should be arriving in around 17 minutes. Aboard an A320-200 registration Charlie dash Foxtrot, November Victor Victor.
Got him. Making all that noise and now throttling down is Delta 1280 from Atlanta, A321. Yeah, pulling back on the reversers, or as I say, reverse thrust.
Delta 1280, map. Taxi Alpha, cross runway 22.
Alpha cross 22 for Delta 1280.
There's WestJet with a north parallel departure off runway 30 right.
Confirm taxi instructions for Delta 12.
Delta 1280, continue Alpha to the gate. I heard Golf 18.
Alpha to the gate, Gulf 13 for Delta 1280.
13, right there.
Hey, what's up, Doc?
Doing some mowing. Says we don't need mowers. I'll just take care of it.
I wonder how much they're making per hour.
Yeah, it'll take them a while.
Maps ground, push approved. Discuss 3680, monitor ground 28. Ground 28, go 3680.
Ground Southwest 1199, taxi whiskey.
Southwest 1199, runway 17, Jack pad, now taxi Tango, cross runway 22.
Alright, back to the 17, the ice pad. Yeah, Tango, cross runway 22, Southwest 199.
634, runway 17, taxi via Delta, slide over to Charlie, hold short, runway 3 left.
Delta 22 on Charlie for busted.
Up to 2062 map ground, taxi via Charlie, Charlie 5.
Charlie 5, Delta.
Ground, 73, proceed Delta Kilo 3 Lima, correction, proceed Delta Kilo 3, hold short, runway 17.
Delta Kilo 3, hold short 17.
Up to 162 heavy map ground, push approved, runway 30 left.
Gonna push for 30 left, Delta 62 heavy, thank you.
Delta 634, monitor tower, 12617.
Apologies for the interruption.
Sun Country 1948 on Mike for Hotel 3.
Country 1948 map ground, pass behind South, taxi via Mike Sierra, cross runway 22.
Okay, behind Southwest Mike Sierra cross 22 Sun Country 48.
The good news that we're back
Back
to share that 162 Heavy for Amsterdam is live with their transponder.
Southwest 1199, expect the wheels up at 6 past the hour, so just 9 more minutes. Taxi Tango, Yankee, Kilo, hold short of Kilo 10.
Tango, Yankee.
We can wave going by us on taxiway Mike, Sun Country Flight 1948. They've come in from Charlotte.
Southwest 1199, no problem. Tower 123.67.
2367, yes, have a great day, Southwest.
Good. 73, monitor tower 123.67.
Monitor tower 123.67.
There's also a C-130 inbound too, RJ.
Yes, that's what I've heard in the chat. There they.
I can see him off in the distance too.
Yes, I can too.
Let's go with 3799 Delta, Charlie 19.
Guess 3799 maps ground. Looks like that traffic's pointed at taxi Delta Papa, monitor ground.
And I'm tracking them coming in on our side.
Go with 3799.
All right, let's go catch that C-130 Hercules.
And I think they're by themselves. I don't see a second one. A lot of times they go out paired up with someone else with them, but
in
in fact, I remember back when the two went out together off the north parallel. Are these the same? Could be one of the same two that went out back then?
Possibly.
Okay, so then that means the second one could still be out there somewhere, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Yeah, our 162 Heavy has pushed. Oopsie.
Somebody accidentally set off their car alarm.
Here comes Delta Flight 2971. They've just touched down from Dallas at 8320. So I must get up. I was taking a little bit of a paw break. Registration 341 Northwest. Of course, I have my funny terminology for things when I just said paw break. I was just off my feet on a chair just to give it a little bit of a break. I was on my feet over at the History Center for a while before coming over here today. So
standing for hours over there, then coming out here and standing for hours out here. I mean, you absolutely deserve a seat.
Yep. But I was up real quick when I saw what this one was. You know, I'm not going to be sitting down.
Springing into action at a moment's notice.
Oh, yeah.
So they snuck in on the north side, but here they are arriving from Toronto, Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, the Toronto Blue Jays are in town. That's the Toronto Major League Baseball team. They're here to play the Minnesota Twins. And that is their charter jet.
So that'll be a weekend series with games probably, tomorrow night, Saturday and Sunday. And that's one thing I haven't done since I've been back. I have not been to Target Field.
Delta 162 Heavy, with 30 left, that could be Alpha.
Alpha off to 31 Delta 162 Heavy.
Yeah, on board that aircraft, a couple of MLB superstars, George Springer and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., just to name a couple.
Country 29 Minneapolis ground, push approved, runway 17.
Pusher for runway 17, Sun Country 429.
And then also, folks, our grand finale will be Delta 162 Heavy departing late, but stylish nonetheless to AMS.
Skywest 3541 is on the runway Charlie Delta gate.
Skywest 3541 maps ground. See runway 4 and Papa, measure ground point 8.
4 Papa, ground point 8, Skywest 3541. Hope you have a good
See ya.
See ya. See ya.
So they're headed over to Signature, correct?
That would be correct.
So we need to keep an eye on the end of runway 30 left. Our Delta 162 Heavy is down there now for their departure to Amsterdam.
Sun Country 429, pushed off the hotel, ready to tag.
Country 429, runway 17, thanks via Sierra Kilo, cross runway 22.
Sierra Kilo, cross runway 22 from 17, Sun Country 429.
And RJ with our last salute, Brian Johnson, one of our awesome members, getting in on it.
Yep.
Saluting the old red tails that pass us by.
Yes, he's part of our team over at the History Center. And he did work for Northwest and then Delta out at
At the 1435
headquarters in
ground,
Egan.
push approved. Delta 1435 maps ground, push approved.
Bajarn, I don't know how you pronounce that. Apologies if I butchered that, but hey, you know what? Appreciate the comment. Thank you so much for the kudos. Nice stream, liked and subscribed. Well, thank you very much. If you like and are enjoying the action today, best way to let us know that we're doing good is to smash that like button and that subscribe button if you want to get notified when we go live from MSP International as Delta 162 Heavy now thundering down the runway off 30 left for Amsterdam Schiphol International.
Ground Delta 2866 off of...
Michael Arson,
20
our
left,
managing producer,
20
also
Alpha
our
here, and
moderator in
Golf
charge, master controller tonight.
2066 man.
This is too bad all the cargo heavies don't depart for another hour
Alpha.
plus.
Cross runway 22, Delta 2866, thanks.
Brian, thanks so much for tuning in. Says thanks, love the channel. Well, glad you are liking the content from here today. Well, I'll tell you, we've had a pretty interesting Thursday. Gotta love all the heavy departures here in the later evening, RJ, that we're starting to see at MSP now. Fun stuff to watch.
Yeah, that time of the summer.
$1435, ready to Up to 1435, runway 30 right, next be at Delta Papa, on underground 20. Delta Papa, right, underground 20, Delta 1435.
Daniel, one of our awesome MSP Airport Live members, says, hello, Alex and RJ. How's it going tonight? Well, it's going pretty good.
It's settled down out here. There's been no drops.
Certainly has.
Exiting the runway, 30 left at Delta, right,
I'm gonna
American 2806.
check the app that I use for weather and see what's going on to the west of us.
All right, Delta to the gate, pass behind the Delta Airbus leaving the alley
If it
now,
will-
American 2806.
So, folks, we want to take the time to let you know that our broadcasts are proudly supported by our wonderful friends over at DG Pilot, purveyor of gifts for the aviation and travel enthusiasts. Visit them online 24/7 at dgpilot.com. If you're a aircraft collectible individual that loves to buy and collect aircraft models, or hey, if you need some cool travel gear or guides for your next trip, or want some expertly crafted Minnesota-made local goods, you can find them all at dgpilot.com or even in store in downtown St. Paul inside the historic Ham building. More information can be found at dgpilot.com. Big thanks to Donnie Gardner and crew for supporting your home for live plane spotting here at MSP Airport on MSP Airport Live. So go check them out. They've got excellent service. They've got actually really good prices on stuff if you're a model collector like I am. So I would seriously give them a look. So head on over to dgpilot.com to get some awesome aviation collectible and travel gear for your next trip. And MSP Airport Live is also proudly supported by Jet Set Shirts. If you're a travel enthusiast, aviation lover, well, I got news for you. These shirts are perfect for everyday wear to showcase your love and passion for travel and
Sun Country 289, Minneapolis.
the wonderful airplanes that we get to spot out here at the aircraft viewing area. They got a lot of fun designs, well-made products. They got a lot of Antonov 225 merch as well if you're a big fan of the Antonov. Again, head on over to jetsetshirts.com to check out all the awesome apparel they have waiting for you to try on.
Country 289.
Jet Set Shirts, the Jet Set life. Wear it. Visit jetsetshirts.com.
We won't block them.
And lastly, we also want to encourage all of you to go check out the Northwest Airlines History Center. RJ's a volunteer, as well as many other wonderful folks who have a background with Northwest Airlines, that worked for the business, that flew Northwest all the time, that have a deep personal connection to the airline that built MSP. And they have a wonderful archive. They have an amazing aviation, the Northwest Airlines themed shop. You can go support them and check out all their awesome products at northwestairlineshistory.org. And they also have information about how to go visit the Northwest Airlines History Center. And RJ, I'm just going to kind of leave it to you here because you know pretty much just about everything with the Northwest Airlines History Center. So where can people go to this fine establishment at? Where is the Northwest Airlines History Center located?
So if you are driving, come on over and visit us at the Crown Plaza Hotel. When you arrive, park on the topmost level of the parking ramp. You'll walk in to the hotel, past the pool, which will be on your right, and then follow the stairs all the way up. And we're up across from the weight room for the hotel. And if you come in through the front, just go to the front desk, let them know that you want to come up to us. They'll have to help you get onto one of the elevators to get up to the floor that we're at. So that's where to find us. And just Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays are the current hours. So we're pretty good shape right now for Thursdays. Fridays, Saturdays are still, we're working on that because we're still kind of trying to get back up to normal operating speed after the incident that we had last October. And we're working on some new displays, a little bit more interactive. We've got a couple of TVs that are set up now to play out some interesting information, like a slideshow on one of them was up and running today.
Nice.
We're working on some other projects to we've got coloring sheets for real little, the littles, and
right, yeah.
We're working on putting together a scavenger hunt for people, and come over and see us, because one thing's for sure, I love hearing the stories, and the rest of us, or all of us for that matter, love hearing all the stories that everybody comes in to see us and share with us. And the recent flight attendant group that came in to see us was literally a little emotional, because I think for some of them, they hadn't seen each other for a long time, and to hear their stories, that was so much fun. It brought tears to my eyes a little bit too, to see them be so glad to be there with us.
That's so awesome to hear. Thanks so much for sharing that. And there's just so many different stories. There's a lot of fascinating history to unpack at the Northwest Airlines History Center. Go check them out at northwestairlineshistory.org. Well, RJ, it's time for us to say goodbye.
Only till the next stream.
That's correct. And this Sunday is when we're looking forward to go live again. So, pending a last-minute schedule change, we're on for this Sunday afternoon. Tune in around 3 p.m. Central Daylight Time to catch all of the primetime Sunday action on MSP Airport Live. Should be a very fun show, as it usually is on Sunday, as temperatures start to warm up here, working into next week. favorite highlight from today, RJ?
Wow. Well, we got a heavy departure that we wouldn't have expected to have had, only because they were 6 hours late. Was it 171?
You are absolutely spot on. That's Delta 171 heavy to Seoul, South Korea. It's just about the last thing that we were expecting to depart, and of course it certainly made up for the lack of 1484 heavy departing on time with the A350 assigned to that service tonight.
Yeah,
But
unfortunately.
regardless, it was an excellent evening. The rain stayed away, even though it was kind of looming out to our west.
Yeah, and it's still out there a little bit, but we'll be all right as we end this evening's stream. And the flight to Detroit is not the only one that's unfortunately running behind schedule tonight. It's, our last Amsterdam flight for the evening is also running quite late as well.
Well, best of luck as they try and get out of here and work out whatever issues may be causing the delay, and hopefully they'll have a terrific trip to the Netherlands
So
tonight.
is that 164?
That'd be correct, 164 heavy, but that'll depart well after we're done and off the air.
Yep, about 11 p.m. as of now. So it happens.
Yeah, for me, my favorite moment tonight was the A350 departure as well to Seoul, getting to see 171 take off. I love the A350. It's always the big highlight for me when I'm out here, and we see them all the time. So we'll certainly see plenty more on Sunday. This coming Sunday, this weekend, we'll be on the air live from right here at the aircraft viewing area, and there'll be a lot more action since we'll have our full show deployed on that day. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications so when we do go live, you don't miss a thing. And for our master controller and moderator on duty tonight, Michael Larson, for RJ Bean, co-hosting with me in the broadcast booth, I'm Alex Running saying goodnight from Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport. We'll see you on Sunday or in the near future on MSP Airport Live. Everybody, take care, and we'll see you again soon.
Welcome to DG Pilot Aviation Collectibles and More and our St. Paul showroom and warehouse. From the time your order is placed until it is delivered to you, our #1 goal is to provide you with the best customer service experience. That's why we're excited to take you behind the scenes today at our warehouse to provide you an up-close perspective of our model aircraft delivery experience. Our first step in the model aircraft delivery process takes place after your order is received. Our model aircraft delivery specialist will conduct a detailed inspection of your model for quality control to ensure we provide you with the highest quality products. Each specialist begins the inspection by removing the model from the box and performing a visual inspection of the model, checking features such as the wings, landing gear, and antenna, as well as the overall model for defects. After the inspection is complete, your model is reboxed and then prepared for packing. Each model is then bubble wrapped to provide an extra cushion to prevent any damage during shipping. After the bubble wrap process is complete, the model is then boxed for shipping. Our specialist then reconfirms your model is ready for shipping, attaches a shipping label, and then your model is sent out for delivery. We hope that you'll consider DG Pilot Aviation Collectibles for your model aircraft collecting needs. You can order products online at dgpilot.com or visit our St. Paul showroom where we have hundreds of model aircraft to choose from. From all of us at DG Pilot, Thank you for your continued business, loyalty, and support. And happy collecting.